We have a great challenge in our state, and really every state has a great challenge. This is not a problem that's unique to Louisiana, but it's all about elevating the profession of teaching. No one goes into teaching to make $1 million a year. And in a society where that's oftentimes how the worth of a profession is measured, it's incumbent upon us, yes, to make sure the teachers are fairly compensated and to make sure that they're rewarded for the incredibly hard work that they do. But we also need to keep elevating the profession to make sure that our world, our constituents, our parents, our society, and most important, our teachers know that there is no higher calling and there is no more challenging job in our society than the great public service that is being a professional educator. And so today we've come together to announce a campaign, and Holly and then Kim will talk about this in a second, but it's a campaign to do a very simple thing. It's to elevate the profession. It builds on work that we've done with the Board of Regents and with the colleges of education, as well as the non-bachelor's granting training programs across the state to try to create a professional residency model so that teachers have the same experience in their preparation as nurses, as physicians, as architects, as attorneys, as they deserve. It builds on work that's happening in rural parishes across our state to ensure that when a teacher is alternatively certified, meaning when they come from a different profession, that they too have a professional experience coming into the classroom. One of the most important days of my life was when I was a fourth-year student at the University of Virginia, and I saw a flyer was given to me about a program called Teach for America that could help me become a teacher. I was 22 years old. It happens for some people when they're 17 years old, maybe when they're 12 years old. It happens for some people when they're 25, maybe 35 years old. It doesn't matter. There's a different path into teaching for all of our tens of thousands of teachers. But what's important is that someone or something touched them and made them aware that this most important of professions could be a life possibility for them. And in turn, they then went on to touch the lives of, if not dozens, then hundreds, and in some cases, even thousands of people's lives. And really, there is no other profession that can lay claim to that important mission. So we're here today to elevate that mission, and with that, I give you former State Teacher of the Year and current Bessie member, Dr. Holly Bofi.
So where John left off, I think, is a great place for me to start. As a child, I developed a great respect for the teaching profession through witnessing the power of my grandparents' work as educators, whether it was the plaque that hung outside or hung at the back door of my grandparents' house that reminded me of their years of service and the contributions that they made, or when I was in the grocery store with my grandmother and she was recognized by one of her students, and you only had to just see that interaction and see the admiration in the eyes of her former students to understand how powerful of a profession this truly is. That respect has only grown in my life, both through my experiences as the State Teacher of the Year, when I had the honor of working across the state, but then also across the country, and then as a state board member, because I understand that teachers are the #1 in-school factor influencing our student outcomes. Unfortunately, though, in some schools and districts where we have higher concentrations of economically disadvantaged students, we don't have the highest quality teaching. And it's very important for us to take on this responsibility and elevate the profession and recruit people into the profession so that our students have the teachers they need in order to be successful. I'm really excited to be here with you today, and also excited to see the role that a State Teacher of the Year is playing in this campaign. I'm proud to introduce to you Kim Eckert. Kim?
Thank you so much, Holly, and thank you all so much for being here today. Essentially, there's never, ever going to be a time where we don't need amazing educators in front of every single student. And that's not a Louisiana thing, that's a planet thing. There's never gonna come a time where that's not gonna happen. And so essentially the department contracted with a professional marketing firm because we really wanted to get this right. We really wanted to do an amazing job of this because there are two very big factors that are at play here. The first, we always need to have really talented people coming into the profession. And then you keep hearing this, that we need to elevate the profession. And what's kind of interesting, I'm gonna diverge here for just a second, because we hear that we need to elevate the profession, and you may ask yourself why. Because we all tend to recognize that teaching is a profession that builds all other professions, and we know that this is a very noble profession. It's very honorable. But at the same token, I know from personal experience, and then just from teachers and students that I teach now, and teachers from over the last decade, that a lot of times whenever we see students that are so impassioned and are so talented and they're so smart and they could contribute in so many different ways, we're very guilty sometimes as a society of diverting them to other fields. And whether that's because of their friends, whether that's sometimes their families, whether it's their communities, whether it's sometimes teachers, that is something that we do. Like whenever we see these bright and talented stars that could just be these shiny educators and helping us propel it all forward, we don't necessarily do that. And that's something that we need to work on. And that's whenever you hear elevating the profession, that very much becomes a part of the conversation, because it's not just about being a teacher. I always say, if you can't be a teacher, do something that helps teachers. And I think that it all starts there. Now we're going to get into the really, really fun stuff, and that's how did this particular campaign that you're going to witness today, the kickoff for it, how did it all come together? So basically, the target audience for this, it's a very special and very unique generation, and it's one that I happen to teach every single day. But we did a lot of market research with this group, and there's some very cool factors about them that I think if you're not with this population every single day, called Generation Z, I think you may be surprised to learn about them. So if you really want to get to the nitty-gritty, it's this generation that's right now our current high school juniors and seniors, and then our sophomores and freshmen in college. They are very risk averse. They are so unique in this sense because we may look at them, young people in general, and think that they're willing to take these big risks, but they're not. They have this really healthy respect for technology. Technology is such a huge part of their life, but they also have seen it reduce jobs. They've seen it take over jobs, and they don't want to have fields that could be replaced. They don't want to be a part of a career pathway that's in any danger one day. And of course, like anyone, they want to have something that leaves a mark, that has an impact, that's critical for this generation. It's also very cool to understand, and I don't think anybody knows this better than a current classroom teacher. The second part of our market research found that they have what's called an 8-second filter. So essentially, any advertising has about 10 seconds to get in and get out because they value their time like we all do. But they are so used to being able to have everything at their fingertips that if you can't sell them that message really quick, they're going to turn the channel, or they're going to flip to a different website, or they're going to close it out and follow somebody else on Twitter. So we essentially had to make some type of campaign that got in and got out in 10 seconds, something that would leave a mark, something that would be super, super memorable for them, so that even if they don't want to pursue a career in education, they become part of our fan club, of this cheering section, that if their friend is like, I'm gonna be a teacher, they're like, do it, yes, you'd be a great teacher. So that's really the other side of this. It's not just about recruiting these really talented people to be teachers. Again, it's that other side where we encourage as a society whenever we see this refreshing and amazing talent that we say, yes, you would be a great teacher. So essentially, having the opportunity to serve as the State Teacher of the Year, I'm constantly in contact with amazing educators, and not just at Bruley High School in West Baton Rouge Parish. I have to give that shout out to my other family. But essentially, every single day, I get to see what we are as a force, the force that we have in shaping the future, in shaping the society that we want to see. So I know how passionate teachers are. I know how caring, I know how wise, I know how smart, I know how creative, I know how brave they are, and I know how fearless they are. And that is why I'm so very, very excited to share with you the very first day of our teacher recruitment campaign and BeATeacherLA. So if you could look up here, I'm gonna give you a little peek at our website. But whenever you look at this site's gonna be the platform. This is the hub for everything that we're gonna do. And so if anyone's interested in any information, and this isn't just for our student group that we've targeted with these specific forms of advertisement, if anyone's interested in those other pathways to becoming a teacher, maybe they're like me, maybe they realized several years into a totally different field that they need to come on back, that they need to join in our force. They can come here if they're interested in being a teacher. And then there's also going to be different places where people are already teachers. So this particular campaign, it's going to take on many different forms. There's going to be, there's billboards, there's different forms of media, and we have different types of commercials. And again, all with that very, very unique demographic in mind. And so whenever you see it, it's immediately going to speak to you, I think, in a way that it's going to speak to Generation Z. And so with that, I would like you to take a look at, I guess, my co-teacher here. You learned 2000, and we would like to share with you.
Welcome back, class. This semester, we're trying something a little different. Meet your new teacher. You learn 2000.
The primary exports of Bangladesh include knitwear and frozen seafood.
The school is always looking to provide our students with the latest methodologies and technology. But as a former teacher myself, I'll be the first to admit that not every experiment is a total success. And I know this is very new and exciting, so we're happy to take any questions. Yes.
Is your knowledge from an internal operating system, or is it like cloud-based?
There are 4 Thai food restaurants within a 1-mile radius.
Teaching gives you the opportunity to have an incredible impact on the lives of young people, helping to shape the very core of their futures. Great teachers pour their personal passions into their work.
So, Miss 2000, what made you decide to teach?
And the genuine enthusiasm that they generate among their students in turn energizes their own love of discovery. I think we learned a lot from ULearn. Sure, maybe not in the manner of proper education, but more importantly, about the indispensable value of our teachers.
Oranges taste like sunshine.
The human ones, that is. The rich fulfillment of teaching may exceed that of any profession. Innovation that stretches the horizons of the mind. Lifelong relationships built through that insatiable thirst for knowledge. Incredible teachers create their own worlds. Imagine yours without them. They simply can't be replaced.
Be irreplaceable. Be a teacher. Learn more at BeATeacherLA.com.
So with that, I'm so excited because whenever I leave here, I get to go back and teach the rest of the day, which is like really gonna be fun. I'm so excited. So now you see a little bit of a sample and you understand how all those parts came together. So this is gonna take form, like I said, it's gonna be a pretty big push through radio, through television, through, social media, and anything that you can do to sort of promote this, because it's for all of you. You've received this, and as you see it anywhere, share it, because we're all a part of this. I think that's the beauty of it. There's not a single person in this room who wasn't affected by a teacher. So pay it forward, keep pushing through, and make sure that all the kids in our classrooms today and all the kids that are coming next have that amazing teacher, that irreplaceable and incredible teacher right in front of them. And as you see that talent, tell them that they could be a part of this profession as well. So please join in with us, join in with the governor, the first lady, and work to recruit that next generation of teachers. Thank you so very, very much for being with us today and witnessing this for the first time.
I taught 10 years. Teaching is an amazing profession. You have incredible opportunities to impact the trajectory of students' lives and actually the world. So it requires a quick thinking and also a strong knowledge base of subject areas. And it's really important to develop relationships, and those relationships with students and their families can be very powerful.
How rewarding is it to be a teacher?
It's incredibly rewarding. I have so many moments from my experiences as a classroom teacher that have enriched my lives, and it's especially great to see students who have gone on and come back and talk about the impact that you make on their lives.
Being a teacher is, and I'm going to give it to you from the way that I take it, being a teacher is the coolest extreme sport that you could ever do. It's vibrant, it's very fast-paced. You get the opportunity to interact, in my case, with over 100 people every single day and build relationships with 100 people every single day. It's about teaming. It's about sparking, and it's about growing and learning. My kids make me smarter every single day. I am better for teaching. So teaching, I think, is different for every single person, and I think, obviously, like so many other things, everything you put into it comes back to you tenfold.
This is extremely important, especially at this point in time, because we know where we have schools within our state that need teachers, especially teachers in teacher shortage areas. And so what we're seeing today is an effort to be able to really reach out to our entire state, reach out to everyone, to identify individuals who would like to enter the teaching profession and be able to really have an impact upon children within our state.
I think it's a positive. Anything that we can do to promote the profession and help to encourage young kids who are in school to follow their dreams to become a teacher, of course, can only help us. And we're experiencing a lot of applications that come in for individuals who have degrees already and want to become teachers later on in life. And I think the more positive messages that are given in terms of the teaching profession, the better chance we've got of recruiting those individuals and working with them as well.
I think it's the feeling that you know that there's so much work to be done, and teaching with a sense of urgency, that every single person is going to be impacted by a teacher, and you want to be a part of that impact. You want to make sure that the society that we live in, it's not left to chance. So every single person on my teaching force, like nationally, like I really feel that we're all on that same mission, that whatever change we feel, whatever world we want to see, that's what we're trying to build every single day.
It is wonderful that that's the message that we are sending out to the public right now, because it is a very, very critical profession. To be a teacher, to impact children, to impact what happens in the future for individuals who complete high school and go on to higher education, it's a teacher that really makes a difference. And so to say that our message here is to elevate the profession, to help the public be aware of the fact that you need to be speaking out and encouraging very, very bright individuals to go into the teaching profession. That's what we mean by elevating the profession.
I think this kickoff is really important. The teaching profession, it truly is the most noble of professions, and I think that we have to make that known loud and clear. And so I think once people understand that being a teacher is truly being irreplaceable, will really have a huge impact on our state.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm generally a pretty excited person. But I love the idea that we could turn more attention to this profession, that we could get this very powerful generation. I teach them every single day. I know what an asset that they could be to this profession. And then also to get anyone who's maybe already on a different course, they've already set their course somewhere else, to get them maybe think again and come on back and join us.